my goodness. Oh, I'm so excited to be here with you guys tonight. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really glad I get to wrap up this season of Oasis with you guys. Oh man, rise and shine. I was listening to some of the previous weeks that you guys had been listening to, and rise and shine is, I think Becky was saying, it's when you're at the top of your game. And then they asked me to speak, and I'm thinking, are you sure you got the right person? Because I'm at the bottom of my game right now. I don't know if this is going to be good, but it's okay. We'll wing it. I think this week is going to be really cool and different, because I think most of the time you hear speakers come up and talk to you about an experience. Usually they've already gone through that experience. You know, they're able to say, okay, well, 5 years ago I went through this, and here's what happened, or 10 years ago, this is what happened to me. I went through a divorce, or somebody died, or I was in an accident, or whatever. And this is going to be a little bit different because I'm still going through this. I'm actually in the middle of this journey. And I don't think a lot of people really speak while they're in the middle of their journey. You don't hear somebody come up and say, well, I'm currently going through a divorce, or last week I found out my significant other cheated on me, or people don't usually talk about their experience while they're in the middle of it. They talk about it afterwards when they can share all the good parts about it. I'm not there yet. I have so many questions, and I feel like that's relatable to at least a couple people in this room. I'm sure somebody in this room, or everybody in this room, is going through something currently. And it's important to have somebody else up here saying, I'm going through this with you, and I still have all these questions too. I don't have any answers. I'm not up here to tell you any answers at all, because I don't have any of them. I'm just up here to share a little bit about my experience, about what I've gone through so far and how that's affected my faith. And I'm hoping maybe some of you can relate to that, or, gain something from it. That would be really cool. I'm not going to share a whole lot about my story. I think a lot of you in this room have been following it a little bit or heard about it. I don't have a whole lot of time to talk about it. But yes, in October, I was in a car accident. I was the passenger, had my seatbelt on. But I shouldn't have made it out of that accident at all. And I know that God saved my life for some reason, and I don't know what that reason is. But I also know that one day I was going through my life. I was in college. I was having a great time with my friends. I was going to graduate soon. And then in a matter of 24 hours, my life completely changed. And I know that was something that was addressed a while back as well, about situations that are in your control and situations that are out of your control. And I've noticed with situations that are out of your control, typically when something happens to you that changed your life overnight, somebody died, you got a diagnosis that was life-changing, something happened in a relationship, you got fired from a job, whatever the case may be, people have experienced something that drastically changed their life and changed your plans. And that happened to me too. I had plans. I was going to graduate, I was going to go off and get a job, I was having a great time with my friends, I had plans on where I wanted to be, and overnight all of those plans went away. Which is kind of the joke, right? If you're going to make a bunch of plans for your life, God's just going to say, okay. Okay, you go make your plans. Try not to get too tired, because none of them are going to happen. None of them are going to happen. But it leaves you in a season of life where just the answer is, I don't know. Every plan that you have had is gone, and now you don't know anything, and that is frustrating and scary for at least me. Maybe that's just me, but that's really scary I'm a planner, okay? I don't need to plan everything out by the hour, but I like to at least have an outline, of where I'm going or what I want to do. And when all of that got taken away, that's scary for me. Not having answers. Where are you going to live? What are you going to do? What job are you going to have? What city do you want to live in? Are you going to move out of your parents' house? When are you going to be independent? What's your timeline? Can you drive again? Man, I don't know. These are good questions. Keep asking them. I'll just tell you, I don't know. I don't have answers for anything. And what do you do with that? How do you move forward? How do you rise and shine to the occasion when you have no idea what's going on at all? That was me for the first couple months of this accident and the journey coming out of it. A lot of people were following my journey and praying for me and all these really, really great things, which was awesome. But from my perspective, it's all been kind of a blur. I mean, being in the ICU for 2 weeks, I couldn't tell you what day it was. I couldn't tell you who said what or what happened to me the day before. Or what day was it that you talked to this doctor? I don't know, and then before I know it, they're saying, okay, we're going to move you to rehab, which at the time, rehab to me meant drugs or alcohol. So when people said I'm going to rehab, I was like, dang it, I messed up. But I went to rehab, and people came in, and there were just people everywhere, and doctors everywhere, and nurses everywhere, and my mom was like the one constant person in my life, but I didn't know what I was doing. I just was told, be here. Okay, do this. Okay, I'm going to give you this drug. Okay, I'm going to give you this shot. Okay, just do whatever. Tell me to go wherever I need to go. Tell me to do whatever I need to do, because I have no idea what's going on. I'm just getting drug along. And so I didn't have a lot of time to process anything. I was able to come home for a couple weeks for Christmas, which was awesome. I really needed some time with my family and friends. And I think, I'm not sure if this is the same for you, but for me, at least going through a lot of this and not having a lot of answers, people love to give you answers or give you opinions or give you their perspective of, well, think of it this way, pray this way, this is what you should be praying for. So I got really confused because I got bombarded with everybody's opinions of what I should be doing, how I should be doing it, how I should think, how I should feel. And man, it was just a lot. Nothing bad. It just really challenged me to just challenge me in what my faith is and who I think God is. So I ended up just praying this prayer after getting kind of overwhelmed, I think, with everybody's input and perspectives and ideas and all these great things. I just got overwhelmed because I didn't know what to think. I didn't know whether to think, okay, all these people are praying for me and telling me you will be healed. I had a dream about you and you were walking, and I know God's going to heal you. Or I got woken up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. and God was telling me to pray for you, and he told me he will heal you. Well, I sure hope so, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I don't know if I should set my heart on the fact that I will be healed. Can I expect that out of God? I mean, I know he can do it. God can do anything. He can move mountains. He can blink his eyes and I'm healed, but I don't know necessarily if that's what's going to happen. I don't know if that's in the cards. So I would, take everything with a grain of salt. I want to be healed, but I also don't want to put all of my heart into that, because what if I'm not? Where does that leave me with God? I'm let down, or I feel like God failed me. But that's not where I should be at either, because that's me expecting God to do something, and I don't get to tell God to do anything. I don't know what the master plan is. I see what's right in front of me today, and God sees the entire picture, the whole plan that I know nothing about, and I don't get to know anything about it. And it's frustrating. Man, I want to know. I want to know everything, because I just want some sort of outline of at least where this is going to take me. I know God saved me for a reason. I'm trying to figure out what that reason is. So I would end up praying at the end of the night, Lord, I want to be healed. Please heal me. I was praying it for months for healing, praying for healing. But you know what? I don't know if that's your plan for me. I don't know what your plan is for me, but I know whatever it is, I trust you, and I know it's going to be great, and I know whatever it is that you do, you're going to use it to point people towards you. You're going to use me as a tool for your glory, and that's all that I need to know. So that was my prayer. Lord, please heal me, but if you don't, I trust you. I trust your plan, I trust your will, and your will, I'm sure, is far better than mine. So that was the end of my prayer around Christmas break at the time. Then I go to church, and the pastor talks about the exact prayer that I had been praying. That was the topic of that conversation, but not in a good way. He was saying, let's talk about the cop-out prayer. And I thought, the cop-out prayer? What does that mean? And he said, well, it sounds a little like, Lord, I'm praying for, insert your prayer here. This is the desire of my heart. This is what I need. Lord, I'm praying for this. But if it doesn't happen, Lord, if this isn't your plan for my life, then your will be done. I thought, wow, that's almost word for word what I've been praying. And he said, yeah, no, that's a cop-out prayer. That's you saying you don't trust that God will do what you're asking him to do. So in the same prayer, the next sentence out of your mouth is, God, I'm asking you to do this. I know you can, but I don't know that you will. I don't think you will. So let me just guard my heart and say, but if you don't, I'll be okay. Is that really for me or for him, And they said, don't do that. Just pray your prayer, ask God for what you're asking for, and then expect that he'll do it. Okay. I don't expect God to do anything. And in my heart, I didn't think that I was copping out. That was just genuinely what I felt, is, you know what? God doesn't owe me anything. And if this is how he's going to use my life, if I'm in a wheelchair for the rest of my life, I'll figure it out. The first day that I was at Shepherd Center, a doctor came up to me, obviously that I didn't know, and the first thing he said is, you know what? I'm just so sorry that this happened to you. This sucks. Really. I mean, I can't say anything past that. It just sucks, and I'm so sorry. But you didn't die. You didn't die, and life goes on. Life is going to continue. You are 22, and you got a lot of life ahead of you, and it's going to be great. Your life is going to be great. You're just here to figure out how to make it great. If you're going to feel upset, you're going to feel angry, you're going to feel frustrated and confused and scared and all those things, that's fine. If you need to feel all those things, feel all those things. We have 24 hours. You get a 24-hour pity party, and then you're done. And then you need to get up and figure it out. And that's what we're here for. We're going to encourage you. We're going to push you. But life is great, and you need to figure out how to make it great again, because you didn't die. And you know what? That is what I needed to hear at the time. Really, that's what I needed to hear. And so as I'm praying this prayer, I'm hearing all these people tell me, you need to be praying this, you need to be praying this. One person, so in the same prayer, it got kind of dissected into multiple parts. One person said it was the cop-out prayer. And then another person, completely unrelated, was saying the part about God's will. Lord, if this is your will. Somebody said, well, if you're saying that this is God's will, then you're saying God did this to you. And that's not the God that we serve. God doesn't want his children to be hurt. God would never intentionally harm you to make himself better, to better his kingdom. That's not who God is. I thought, well, I'm not saying God did this to me. God didn't do this to me. People did. God saved me from this, and he's going to use this, but I don't think that he did this to me. I think he can maybe use it, and maybe this is where I'm supposed to be. Maybe this is where I need to be in order to live my life out the way that God meant it to be. I don't know. So I'm struggling because these people are telling me, another person said, you can change God's will. What? You can change. Okay, I really struggled with that one. I said, wait, okay, I'm sorry. Then he said, if you think about it, if you have a kid and your kid really wants this puppy, like really, really wants this puppy, and you say, no, I love you, but no, I'm not going to give you this puppy. And he asks for it every single day, just begging you for this puppy, and you see how much this kid that you love more than life itself wants this, and you love this kid and you want him to be happy, you might change your mind and say, okay, if you want it that bad, I'll give it to you. And he said, so if you ask God, pray every morning, pray really hard, ask God to heal you, and maybe that wasn't his plan, but he sees how much you want it, and he loves you, and he wants you to be happy, so maybe he'll change his mind. Man, that one really messed me up for a while. I really struggled with that one. And so all these people are giving me all these different pieces of advice, or I don't know if you can call it advice, I'll call it advice. And I just ended up lying there in the middle of the night just thinking, okay, God, I don't really know how to talk to you anymore because I've been doing it wrong apparently this whole time. Everybody's been telling me that the prayer that I've been praying is wrong, and I'm saying this about you, and I'm saying this about you, or I'm telling you what to do, or I'm trying to change your will. And I just thought, Lord, I don't even know how to talk to you. So Lord, please heal me. I love you. I trust you. Amen. I just leave it at that. And then, I just didn't even know what to pray anymore. I was just confused at that point. How do you trust God to do something without almost telling him to do it? Because I don't get to tell God anything. I don't get to expect anything out of God. I do expect that he loves me, and he always will, because that's what he said. I do expect that his will for me is best, because that's what he said. But I don't get to expect him to do anything for me, or I don't get to expect him to heal me, because that's up to him, And so I would end up one night, as a side note, insomnia is a really fun side effect of spinal cord injury. I get lots of time on my hands every once in a while. And so my mom used to tell me when I was in the hospital, she would say, okay, well, when you can't sleep at night, just pray. It'll put you right to sleep. So I thought, okay, perfect. So I would spend my time and I would pray. And one night I was up for a really, really long time. And I was just praying my heart out. Just, Lord, this is what I'm frustrated about. This is all of these. I prayed for like 2 hours, just ranting out loud, just things that I'm disappointed at, things I'm frustrated at, things. I just all of my I don't knows, all of my what ifs, everything. I just laid it out there, and I've also not been one of those people that can just hear God. Super jealous of the people that can. You always hear the stories of, I was struggling and I was going through this and I prayed about it and I just heard this voice out of nowhere that just gave me the answer. Thinking, how? Why doesn't he talk to me like that? Or, I prayed that God would tell me what I needed to hear, and I opened the Bible and bam, there it was, and it was already highlighted for me. I don't know how that happened. You're just like, gosh, why can't he talk to me like that? I've never had that experience with the Lord, and I've always wanted it. But this one night, I did, and I'm super pumped about it. It's like the one time I'm like, yeah, I heard him. I just was praying for a really long time, and I was frustrated, and I was ranting for about 2 hours, and it's almost like God was just sitting there waiting for me to stop. Just letting me get it all out. And at the end of the prayer, I just remembered this verse, and I didn't even know where it was or what the actual verse said. I just remember at one point in my life hearing this verse that said, "Stop worrying about tomorrow." Are you guys familiar with this verse? It's, stop worrying about tomorrow. Tomorrow will worry about itself. Focus on today, because today has got enough trials of its own. Something like that, And I thought, oh, that's super true right now. For my life and where I'm at right now, man, that is super true. And I wanted to share that with you guys because I went back and I looked up that verse. I think it's going to come up on the screens. I'm not sure. It's in Matthew 6. And I went back and I found it. And reading the entire thing, I thought, oh, okay. All right. So the title of this, in Matthew 6, there's a bunch of different titles, and this title of this passage, it's "Do not worry." It says, "Do not worry. Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body." Heard. All right. Heard. What you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or stow away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? And why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers of the fields grow? They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all of his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow thrown in the fire, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? And I'm reading this, I'm thinking, okay, I'm trying. So it goes on to say, so do not worry, saying, what shall we eat? What shall we drink? What shall we wear? Where am I going to live? What am I going to do? What job am I going to have? All these questions. This is sounding familiar. It's like this verse was written for me. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that shares all these worries. When your life starts over and you don't have answers for everything and you're living in this season of, I don't know, it's scary. God's just saying, why are you worrying about all these things? For the pagans run after these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. I thought, okay. I am so focused on worrying about everything down the road. And God doesn't want that. That's not what he's asking. That's way too big of a bite for me to chew. And it's questions and it's answers to questions that I'm not ready to know yet. It's answers to questions that will be answered when they're ready. But that's not what God's asking me to focus on. He says, focus on today. You take care of today. I've got the rest. Do your best today. I've got tomorrow. That's just kind of what I want to leave you guys with. That I don't have all the answers. I don't have any answers. I'm just sitting here with all these questions. A lot of people are asking, how are you doing it? How are you smiling? How are you, being so positive? And I'm thinking, what's my alternative? I could be super angry and bitter and depressed. It sounds like fun, but I would so much rather not feel that way, because if I start going down that road, I don't know how I'll get back, but nobody ever said that I'm not allowed to feel the negative feelings about what's going on in my life. Whatever you guys have going on in your life, there are going to be really negative feelings about it. Frustration, anger, fear, questioning, and that is all completely okay. God just says, I just want you to do your best. I just want you to focus on today. Be frustrated, but work hard. Be sad, be angry, but do your best. And that's all that I've got. That's just what I want to leave you guys with today. I'm sorry, my foot's being all distracting. Just do your best. If you're going to rise and shine to the occasion, right, be at the top of your game. I don't think that God's asking you to be at the top of your game. I think he's just asking you to try your best. I think he's just asking you to trust him. And at the end of the night, if you don't have any answers and you're stressed and you're angry and you're scared, which I am all of those things, on top of the good things, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the night, I just get to lay in bed and say, God, I trust you. I don't know what that even means, but I trust you. I trust in who you are, and I trust that you have a great plan for me, and you're going to help get me through this. If I'm not strong enough to get through the day, you're going to be that strength for me. Stop. If I'm sorry. That's all. That's just what I wanted to share with you guys. That's where I'm at right now, is just taking on the next day.